Okay. Freight forwarders are this company. Those company will help us to ship our product from one destination to the other destination, right? So
Mm-hmm.
one place to the other place. So in our case, like our product, we want some company who can help us to ship our product from China to US, right? US
Mm-hmm.
Amazon warehouse. So there are companies like those companies are called freight companies, freight forwarders. They are like the freight forwarders. Okay.
Okay.
And the freight forwarders, the companies, as example, you see DHL, FedEx, UPS, those are the big freight companies.
Mm.
Okay. Big freight forwarders. And there are many small freight forwarders who can also do the same thing for us. So it is up to us like what company you are selecting. We can even select the big companies like DHL, FedEx, and UPS. But
Mm.
obviously, their charge would be
Much
definitely
more.
higher than what we may get from other companies, right?
Mm.
So, but definitely their shipping would be reliable because their charge is higher and they are the big companies, in fact, and shipping must be reliable. Okay,
Mm.
so if we can afford to take their service, we can opt their service and send our product from one place to the other place, right, through those companies. But
Mm.
sometimes it might not be feasible for us, a company or I mean, beginner who is starting just the business as a Amazon FBA seller, then might not be feasible. Okay,
Mm.
yeah, and you see this Amazon FBA specialist forward. There are some specialists are there also. Like these are the specialists. Specifically, they do FBA shipment. These companies do a lot of shipments. It is not just the Amazon FBA shipment. Okay, they do a lot of things from country to country, from like for offline market and all those things, right? But these companies like FBA specialist company, freight specialist company, and this company link I have given like FBAforward.com and FBAexpress.com. But still, you may not use them as well. So it is something like
Very
you
expensive.
uh, maybe or may not be. You can
Mm.
always check and compare. So you can like compare this with other freight forwarder. I'll tell you how you can find the freight forwarder on
Mm.
Amazon on Alibaba.com. Okay, so you can find freight companies in Alibaba itself. So let's complete through this. I'll let you know how you can find. And what are the shipping like? While shipping your product, there will be certain restrictions, right?
Okay.
So those restrictions, like you need to know in prior if there would be any, right?
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, what will happen? Like if you take the product and it is stuck somewhere, then your money is on, I mean, is on stake, right?
Mm.
So that's why it is always better you check all aspect and take the product. Like even while deciding the product, also selecting the product, you should check this aspect as well, whether there will be any restriction for this product.
Okay.
I'm sorry. So what can be these restrictions, right? So it
Mm.
can be like customs and other agency restriction. Okay. So
Mm.
custom may have restriction. Like if you are taking some product which is, I would say, some animal related
Not
product,
legal, which is not legal.
not legal kind of product, or it might be legal, or but it requires some kind of documentation, right?
Mm.
So then that is something you should know. Or if the product which has a higher custom duty,
Mm.
which is more than 100% of custom duty, then what
Mm.
is the point? Like why you should take that kind of product, right?
Yes.
That is something you should check in prior. Like I'll give an example of a product which is pencil. Okay,
Okay.
pencil seems to be 100% custom duty.
Wow.
And yeah, so it has, you know, should know, right? If you do not
Mm.
know, you take help from freight company. They'll let you know, okay, this product is higher custom duty, you should not take this, right? What is the
Okay.
custom duty? Probably you can find with harmonization code. There is something called harmonization code, if you know that. Do you know?
No.
No. Okay. There is harmonization code. With that code, we can find how much would be your custom duty.
Okay.
So you have to find harmonization code for your product. Okay, the product what you are taking. With that code, you find out what might be custom duty and what might the restriction part. You might not be able to know all things like sea restriction, freight restriction, or air freight restriction, right? And Department of Commerce that restriction, Amazon FC restriction, probably you can find out. That's why I say that you list your product before selecting as well. Okay,
How to know that that code which you were telling
harmonized
harmonizing?
code.
Mm.
Yeah, that we can. I mean, Google it, so you'll find that.
Like
Uh,
I have to Google the name of the product and ask for that code of it.
yes, let's. Yeah, so we'll go through that. Like we can do that. Let's complete these
Mm-hmm.
things. Yeah. Okay. So that's why it is very important for us. Like we should understand or we should know while selecting our product that if our product has any kind of restriction as such customs, air of sea freight restriction, or any government related restrictions, right? So that
Mm.
also should know. And if Amazon FC itself will have certain restrictions. That also you should know that if you are taking this product, but Amazon is rejecting to accept this product, they do not they do not want to keep this product inside their FC, right?
Mm.
So if it is a kind of product which is probably something I would say hazardous, then hazardous product will not be accepted as long as you take the proper approval, right?
Mm.
There are ways out. It is not that you cannot take that hazardous product. You have to go through the process and take the approval, and Amazon should approve that okay, you can bring that product inside of a warehouse. Otherwise,
Okay.
it will not be accepted. If you are not taking that approval and prior taking you just took the inventory there, when they see that, they'll simply reject that. They'll not accept, and you will
Okay.
be stuck with the inventory for a long period.
Okay.
And then you'll have to go through that approval process and all those things. So all those would be headache. Instead,
Mm.
do that thing in prior. Okay. So
Mm.
here you see like the I mentioned like this is something I've captured from Amazon itself. So it is not something done developed by me or anything. This
Mm.
is Amazon's information. What I'm sharing. Yeah.
Mm.
So you see the following classes are approved for ABA in limited quantities only. That's what it says, right? So it is class are mentioned and the division class division is there. What are the product? Then restricted product is flammable gas. I mean, it is restricted. You cannot take means huge number of flammable gas products, related products, right?
Mm.
So it can be accepted, but it can be approved in fact. So it is not that you without approval you can take the product. You have to take the approval prior take moving or prior shipping the product to Amazon FC, right?
Mm.
So that you should do. And here are all types of like product is shown here. If you go through the list, like says non flammable, non toxic gases, flammable liquids, flammable solids, oxidizer, organic peroxides, right? All these like chemical kind of products and all those toxic substances, right? So
Mm.
those kind of product are restricted, are I mean are something has to be approved.
Mm.
Okay, and the class are prohibited from Amazon FBA. What which are the class prohibited here shown? Like these are the product which are prohibited. You cannot take this product. They do not accept and they do not keep this product inside of FC. So which is
Okay.
that explosive substances, which could be like bomb or something, right? Who knows? Like
Mm.
those kind of product cannot be taken inside, right?
Mm.
Toxic gases cannot be. Substances liable to spontaneous combustion. Okay.
Mm.
Substance is dangerous when wet. When it becomes wet, it If it is dangerous, then not allowed, because there are high chance if something happens, then
Mm.
it will be like dangerous for the complete warehouse, and there will be huge loss to them, right?
Mm.
Infectious substances. So if anything is infectious, then yes, it will not be. Radioactive materials, it will not be. It is prohibited totally. It is not allowed. Okay.
Mm.
So you saw that, right? Those are the list.
Yes.
So Amazon restricted product, you can get more information here. I have put the link. So I'll share this PPT on group. Then you
Okay.
can get this link and check that later also. Okay.
Mm.
So there is additional information also is provided about restricted product and all. Okay. Now coming to Incoterms. What is Incoterms? Incoterms is in international commercial terms. So that is basically developed to make or to simplify the things, like when the shipment happens from one country to another country, right? If
Mm.
there is no international standardization, then how it can be, like if one country gives some way of identifying the products, and other country, when they receive, they probably will not be able to understand what is been mentioned, right?
Mm.
That's why it has been internationally standardized. That's why it is international commercial terms.
Okay.
You understood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now, what are the international commercial terms and Incoterms related to? So when it is a mode, depending on what mode of transport we are taking, the Incoterms will be applicable. So there are transport modes like air, ship, right? Air and sea,
Yes.
and there are train mode of transportation also is there, rail mode, which is rail mode, but it is only probably applicable country, like if it is country from India to Nepal, India to
Mm-hmm.
Pakistan, where the train something is there, right? It is not that
Mm.
India, China to US something rail facility, rail transport would be available, right? It will not
Mm.
be. So sea and air are the most
Many.
main two type of transport mode which will be utilized. And what are the terms will be applicable? In fact, this info terms is applicable to, if I'm saying here, to any mode, it is mostly any mode will be applicable to this. I mean, these all Incoterms will be applicable to sea and air both mode, in fact, right?
Mm-hmm.
So X works, FCA. I'll probably would not expand all this in detail, because I'm not also that much confident on all the things, but
Mm.
we are requiring few Incoterms which we need to know, right? Those things I'll
Mm-hmm.
tell you. Hmm, okay. Mm, I mean, for this, we have Vijay, right? Vijay is good on this actually. So he
Mm.
always, whenever he's there, he takes the class for when this particular thing, explaining
Okay.
part. But yeah, I mean, this those all would not be required for us to understand everything. But yes, like certain things like EXW, DDP, DAP, these all will understand what is those things. And on the next page, we will understand also other type of Incoterms as well. So you just remember the name like EXW, which is nothing but X works, free
Mm.
carrier, carrier, carriage paid to, carriage
Mm.
paid, carriage and insurance paid to, DAT delivered at terminal, DAP, DDP delivered duty paid, DAP delivered at place. Okay,
So I
and
think mostly we will use DDP and DAP.
yes, exactly.
Mm.
We'll use mostly DDP or
Mm.
EXW. Okay,
Mm.
and there is another mode called FOB. We'll come to that.
Mm.
Free on board.
I know, yeah, I know.
You
Free
know
on board.
FOB? Okay,
Yes, yes.
yeah. So fast is free alongside ship. FOB is free on board. CFR cost and freight.
Mm.
CIF cost, insurance and freight.
Mm.
Okay, so this
With
is
those three, FOB, CFI, and CFI mostly used in India, Indian export terms.
no, it is international, all international terms
Mm.
only. There is no Indian terms or anything. It is all international terms, so that's why it is Incoterms. Okay, international commercial terms, and these all used everywhere. But depending on the shipment type and all, who the shipment, whoever is doing the shipment, what type of shipment they prefer, accordingly the shipment happens. Okay,
mm,
so now if you see here, like I think. Okay, so let me explain about a little bit about this X works.
mm,
X work is basically this a term, and what kind of shipment? Like this is basically shipment type. Okay, Incoterm is
okay,
nothing but shipment type. X work is a shipment type. This is nothing actually. In the sense, there will be two side party responsibility. One is buyer, one is seller, right? Seller
mm,
responsibility and buyer responsibility. Okay,
mm,
so these terms are defined in a such a way that buyers will have certain responsibility when the term is one type, and seller will
mm,
have certain responsibility. In in one case, seller might be have higher responsibility, buyer may
mm,
have lower. In other case, seller might be having lower responsibility, buyer may have higher responsibility. Okay, so this
mm,
chart, what I'm showing here, you will see this whose responsibility is what. You see on the top, seller.
okay,
Here on the top there is seller. Here on the other side there is buyer, right? So
mm,
that means buyer is nothing but the supplier who is selling the product to us. No, sorry, I'm saying the reverse. Buyer
mm,
is us, and supplier,
mm,
seller is the supplier who is selling the product to us. Okay,
mm,
so that means we are on this green. We are green, and the supplier is, our supplier is red. So if you see
mm,
EX works is the supplier. So that means supplier has responsibility of just manufacturing the product. Okay,
okay,
and they'll, once the manufacturing is done, they'll keep their product on their warehouse. Okay,
mm,
and it becomes our responsibility, the buyer responsibility to means
collect it,
collect it from their warehouse and ship it all the way to the destination, right?
okay,
So if you see here on the top, you see export customs,
mm,
carriers, port, onboard, port, named place, import customs, and finally it reaches to buyer,
mm,
right? It goes through all these stages, right?
mm,
The stage is like export custom. So first thing is like the buyer or the seller has to clear up the custom, export custom on
mm,
the source country, from whichever the country the product is getting shipped, right? So
mm,
in our case, it is China. So export customs, export, I mean, through export license, it has to be cleared through custom, correct? Then it
okay,
will go through carrier to the port. Then it
mm,
will be boarded to the, if
ship,
it is through sea, it is through ship, or if it is through air, it is to the flight, right?
mm,
So it will be boarded. Then it will be landed on the port. Then it will go to named place. It might be the, I mean, the carrier, whoever is the carrier here, they'll it will go to their place. They'll clear the import custom, import duty, and everything.
mm,
Then it goes to finally delivered to buyer. These are the stages. So you see the green are buyer. So in this XW case, all the responsibility starting from like export, custom, carrier, port, onboarding, right? I mean,
mm,
offboarding and onboarding both, right? I mean, you have to load and unload, and so this is all becomes our responsibility. So that doesn't mean that you will be doing by yourself, right? So you will have to involve another company who will can do for us, isn't it?
yes,
Right? So that's basically the thing. In case of free carrier FCA, you see the red portion. So that is basically the responsibility of the supplier is to manufacture and get that export license cleared up, okay,
mm,
and get the and pay the carrier fees as well. free carrier. So that means carrier fees also will be taken care by the supplier,
Seller.
seller.
Mm.
Okay, free alongside SIP, which is nothing but FAS. FAS, if you see the responsibility, it is something like this. So I mean, it will be the supplier responsibility is to do all these things like export clearance and export duty and carrier fees, and they'll means till the point that till the port they will deliver it, right?
Mm.
That's something will be taken care by the seller, and then our responsibility is starts from here, from the port. It will be like onboarding, right? Then
Mm.
other responsibility like import, boarding, offboarding, and all those responsibility will be on our side. Same like FOB. FOB is again like everything as I said up till here. The only thing will be included is that they will even take the responsibility to onboard your goods. That's
Mm.
FOB. So this chart clearly says that what is what, right? So you can clearly see that. So in our case, mostly as I said, we will be using XW, EXW, which is Xworks. So seller will manufacture and keep it on their place. Then will engage another company who will do the shipping for us, which will be another freight company, right?
Mm.
It can be also done that way, or our supplier can do the shipping as well for us, which would be like any of these. We can ask them to, I mean, do any of these, right? You can say them to do FCA. Then if it is FCA, then it will be for us to take from here. So all this like that. So if you see, then if you go by FOB was completed, cost and freight. So here you see till this point, like they'll board it. At the same time, I think I'll be little confused here. So these all things I think I'll not cover. Only see XW, FOB, DDP. These are
Mm.
three things we'll be dealing with. We'll not be dealing with all these things: CFR, CIFS, CAF, CPT, while shipping our product to China. So I'll tell about DDP. What is DDP? It is delivered duty paid. That means it is the seller's responsibility completely to deliver our product till from the manufacturing to till to the Amazon warehouse, right? So they'll
Mm.
include the manufacturing cost as well as the shipping cost. So if you are selecting them to do the shipment for us, right?
Mhm.
So so but I mean usually you may not do that, depending, like you will definitely you should, and you will be shopping around for the shipping, like for the price, like where you can get a good price.
Mm.
Because if you go through the supplier may charge you higher. Usually they charge higher
Obviously,
because
everyone will because they'll take the headache.
they'll take these things, and they even in fact they try to make money also on that.
Mm.
Because if they provide that service, then the shipping is something they can add up, and some percentage they'll make money. Instead, if you shop around and try to find good deal and
Mm.
reliable freight company, then yes, that you can definitely choose that. Why to unnecessary, like, I mean, pay high if you can get good reliable on a reliable freight company on lesser price, right?
Mm. I think FOB would be also the good thing to do
Yeah,
because
FOB is also like good thing, like FOB can be, but again, like you will have to involve another freight company from here this point. Our supplier responsibility will be till the onboarding of the goods. Then from
mm.
that point, freight company will take over, and they will deliver the product to our place like Amazon warehouse, right?
Mm.
But in my case, what I have done, I have either gone for this DDP or AXW.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm.
So there are freight companies who get down to their warehouse and then collect the shipment
So
from there.
basically, they'll not. I mean, they'll get down in the sense they'll again have some local carrier who can bring the product
Hmm.
to their warehouse, and they'll ship it from their warehouse to port and all those things. But what may happen, like if you're bringing the product from long distance from one city to other city, there are chances that you will be paying some local shipment cost as well, right? So when you
Yes.
do FOB, that is taken care of. Like that cost is not added up there. So FOB, like you will be, I mean, your product is delivered, but for FOB, definitely your supplier will add local shipment, local delivery charge from their warehouse to port, correct?
Hmm.
So that charge they will add and they'll put on product cost. They'll say that FOB price of the product is this much, or EXW or DTP is this much. So they includes the shipping cost and tell the product cost inclusive of shipping cost. So
Okay.
here is the table. You can see the table whose responsibility in terms of the responsibility it is shown, like whose responsibility is what. Any transport, you see the all this who will do packaging, charge and fees. You see the type. This is basically Incoterms on the top. Okay,
Hmm.
and this one is like what is that is mentioned expansion of it. Hmm. And what is the responsibilities here? You see the green side, the responsibility like packaging, loading charges, right?
Hmm.
Delivery to port and place. So whose responsibility is all complete chart is there. So you can see
So
that
it's the same thing which you have shown earlier in other
it is the
chart.
same thing. It is the same thing. It is just that like it is
Hmm.
on
Okay.
table. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So and if you are stuck at any point like in Amazon sorry, not Amazon, US customs, then
Hmm.
you can take help of import and export agent there in US. So this is a
Okay.
company who can help us in case if you are stuck or something like if our agent who have taken the product not able to clear it up or something, then probably we can definitely will have to try some agent there, local agent who can help us.
How much do they charge for that?
I mean, it all depends. It is not something a fixed cost or something because depending on the product, goods, and custom thing, custom has a lot of regulations, right? So if custom is not clearing up, then what can be done? Like I mean, depending on the lot of things,
No,
there are a
but
lot of factors.
if we have already hired an agent, then why do I have to hire from
No,
this?
yeah, that's what. Like if you have hired agent, the agent's responsibility becomes to clear up. So you will not mostly will not get into this company.
Hmm.
But in worst scenario, let's say if something happened, I mean, they are not able to clear up, then probably you can contact another company who can probably do something else to get your thing cleared up,
Hmm.
right? Yeah, so that's all about this shipping thing. So there is not much, in fact, like you just need to know few things. You do not need to understand the whole thing, but it is better that if you know, if you I mean,
Hmm.
go through the more detail, probably you can talk also the freight company wisely.
Hmm.
Right? But yeah, but these basic things are enough for a, I mean, for a seller to understand.
Okay.
Yeah. And what was that like you were saying that right about something you were trying about harmonizing code, right?
Hmm.
Harmonizing code or something. It's called HSN code, huh? Code lookup. Harmonized code lookup. HS and HTS code lookup. Finder harmonized code. Frets. Yeah, Fretos. Yeah, I was also okay. Yeah, I'll talk about those two things now. Yeah, here you can, in fact, Freightos is a company. I mean, it's a
Mm.
online portal where you can also find a lot of freight companies. Okay,
Okay.
but it depend means it might like be the case. The pricing what they are offering might be higher as well. But you can shop around. Like here is this is the one place. Alibaba is another place. So these two places you can shop around, see who is offering better and who can be trustworthy freight company, right?
Mm.
Okay, so let's, I mean, here you can check about the code. Hmm. So look up what is this? Browse SS code. Product description. I can see. Let's say if I say some kind. Okay, dot collar. That's the default. What is saying? Clothing. So it comes in clothing accessories, module, style code. Okay. Free lookup. Oh, it's basically it's probably okay. Not this place. I think I usually don't do like I give the product details to freight means my freight company and they'll tell that okay this has this much. But it is better that we also check ourselves because we can, I mean, compare with them that
Mm.
what they are saying about the custom duty, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go like tariff. What is about tariff? Uh, it can be some product storage or office file organizer. Uh,
Is it kind of a category code or what in their
mm,
language?
category, sorry.
This is kind of a category code in customs language.
Yeah, it is like yes, category code, and there will be its HS as well, harmonized code as also. Depending on that harmonized code, the duty also can be, I mean, applicable. But anyhow, so that information,
Custom agent can give us about this.
yeah, yeah, that's correct. Uh, HTS number from to two. So this numbers can be HTS number. Depending on that number, the duties will be. Anyhow,
Okay,
so it's
first we have to find the HTS number and then we can
yes,
get
yes,
the duty.
correct. And okay, so to find freight companies, as I said, like Freightos is a place where you can find freight companies. Resource, I think actually earlier I used to search over here, but I stopped because I mean the offer what I was getting it was so expensive, so that's why I went to Alibaba and Alibaba where I found good number of freight companies in fact. So from there, like I found my freight company with whom I am dealing with so far. I'm not
Hmm.
gone to any other company yet uh, because she was good. Like she was good in terms of price, in terms of her service. She was good. So that's why I continued. But yes, I mean, we can explore if we find good options still.
Mm.
Yeah, but I'm just telling you where all you can see. But this place I have not tried for some time, so I'm not able to find the place. There is a place actually where uh, compare the rates now. Yeah, something. Okay, it is asking to log in, I believe. Earlier, they were. I mean, they were not giving any login or anything. But let's go to Alibaba. Actually, Alibaba is the place where you'll find. In fact, okay. So you can say Amazon FBA freight forwarders, right?
Mm.
Amazon FBA freight forwarders. So you'll see a lot of freight companies here, but again, it is the same process what I have already told, right? Finding the trustworthy freight company. The same how you found the supplier, right? Same process you have to. I mean, you can click on this supplier. So it's always better to click on this, and you can say trade assurance and should be a verified supplier so that they have at least. So we found just that four suppliers. Okay, no, not four. What is that? Four result or something? It's showing four suppliers says Bristol. Okay, as in you there was only Amazon freight forwarder four suppliers, but there are FBA freight forwarders another keyword, and with that there are a lot. I mean, there are many more in fact. Okay, so you can click on this and you can see how they are like what all. I mean, their ratings, their transactions, all those things you can see. You can go up to their micro site as well, where you can
Mm.
see if they are verified and all those things, right? So this gives you the at least some confidence they can, and they have been doing since like they are established since 2013, and they have this many employees. They have done annual revenue of this. Okay, but there might be. I mean, you may find some companies who are suppliers at the same time they do shipping. They are listed here as well. So those are the companies actually they'll tie up with other companies in the
Mm.
back end and they'll do the shipment for you. So in that case, you may, I mean, there will be a commission which this guy will in the middle may take. So usually, if you find direct freight company, then it's good. So you see here, this company says Engine Ledger Digital Technology. It's a digital company actually. It is not a freight company direct. They do
Okay.
so. So they manufacture. They probably the trading company or something like that. Okay, made in China. What type of companies? Private owner, location, product certificate. See here, they are manufacturer. They manufacture the product at the same time they do this thing also.
Mm.
Okay, they do the freight service as well. So in the sense they'll, I mean, work with us, but on the back and background, they'll be working with somebody else to ship our product with another freight company, or they might be themselves freight company. I don't know, like if they have the export license to export and all those things. So
Mm.
yeah, it might depend. Like okay,
Okay.
mm, yeah, so most probably, I mean, you will find here. This is another company, Wingspeed. Where is that company? Shenzhen Wingspeed International Forwarding Company. So this company is mostly, not mostly. This is the company which does this freight thing, right? They are the freight forwarders.
Okay.
Okay, so you can definitely. talk to them. And in fact, this is the company which I am using.
Okay.
Okay. Uh,
What have they mentioned above? Like $1, $2? What is that?
this is a
Kilogram.
per kilogram shipment charge, but it will depend it will depend totally on your product volume, product weight, and all those things. So they usually say that per kilogram this much. But when you tell about your product, they'll calculate the weight, volumetric weight. So weight is always calculated in volumetric, which is CBM, cubic meter. Okay.
Mm.
So with cubic meter, they'll give you the calculation how much would be cubic meter charge. Hmm.
And they take care of all this custom duties and everything.
Everything. Like if you go for the DDP option, obviously we'll say them to do the DDP, so they'll take care of everything.
No, you will tell DDP to this freight company or to the
Freight
seller.
company, to the freight company. I mean, it is basically delivered due to it. I mean, you don't need to say it that DDP, but you will basically say that it has to be delivered till Amazon FBA. But if you say DDP, then that becomes more clear to them. Okay, I mean, client expects that everything has to be taken care by us, right?
Mm.
Yeah,
Okay. So we do not need to discuss this with the seller, but we have to discuss this with the freight company.
with the freight company. Yes, you can discuss with you can ask the seller, I mean the supplier about
Mm.
their shipping charge, how much they will ship. I mean, how much they will charge for the shipping. You can get a quote, right? And you
Mm.
can at the same time you can get a quote from this freight, some uh, three or four number of freight companies and compare the price, right?
Mm.
And also see all those their company details and all, since how long, how many customers, what are the how many employees are there, whether they are established, how is their feedback, customer feedback, how is their response. Depending on that, you take the call. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so here you can, Alibaba is the place where you can find as well the freight companies. Okay, so yeah, that's all, I mean, about today's session.
Okay.
So you have, do you have any doubts or anything on this?
No, no, no. It's
All right.
clear. We have to
Okay.
work in EXW or DDP. Any
DDP.
two.
DDP, yeah.
Mostly
EXW.
it would be DDP.
Yeah, yeah. And mostly it will be EXW or DDP. Yeah. FOB also can be, but yeah, I mean, if you have to do any kind of, I mean, check at any point, like if you say that I want my freight company to do additional service or inspection or something, then
Mm.
yes, I mean, you can ask the freight company when they get the product to their warehouse, they can do the inspection.
Okay. Do these people, I mean, while packaging, or do they have some like kind of, do we have to go through the packaging note? Yes.
Do you have to
The,
go through what?
the packing, like what kind of, like if we order like 500 quantity, 1000
Uh,
quantity,
mm.
so we have to look into the packing, like if it is a correct product or they just packed
Yes,
it
they can. I mean, you can ask your freight company when they get the product in
randomly.
their place, they can take photograph and give it to you. Like if the product what was ordered was delivered or not, right?
Mm.
That can be checked by freight company. If you ask them, they'll probably open it up and take snap and send it to you, right? That can
Mm-hmm.
be done. And yeah, so if inspection is something you want to do it for your product, then you can involve third party company to do the inspection in either of the place, at the supplier place or at the I mean the freight company warehouse place. Like once you get the product from supplier to freight company, then you can do it there.
Mm-hmm.
But it is always better to do the inspection at the supplier place, because if anything is wrong, it can be taken care there itself, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
So do you get the your products? like inspected over there?
Yeah. Yes, yes.
Okay. Do
Yeah.
they? How much do they charge normally for inspection?
$100, around $100, $120 something they'll charge,
Hmm.
depending on the number of quantity again. Like if you say that I want to check every product, then yes, it will be higher, right? But if you just want to check some random products, they'll randomly pick few products and do the check and prepare a report. Then it will be around $100.
What do they check in that? The quality of the product or what?
It is like, yeah, it is basically what you want to check. I mean, there
Okay.
can be different kind of check what can be performed. So like
Hmm.
if you say the quality, if you say the I mean, what do you say?
Quantity also.
Quality is basically something has to be checked, right? That's the main thing has to be checked. Quality, or
Damage.
if any defect is there or anything on the product,
Hmm.
right? So to find defective product, in fact, that also check is done. So if there is any for defective, probably you can go through the whole lot. So if you have to go through the whole lot, you can ask the inspection company to check each and every unit. Then they'll reject whatever the number they found as defective. Then supplier has to fulfill again all those rejected ones, right?
Okay.
Could be like,
But
I
the
mean, this.
supplier, the, why would supplier do that if he has the complete amount of money, or we have to hold some amount?
No, supplier will not do because supplier doesn't include that inspection on their these things. But if you, but, I mean, it doesn't make any sense to involve supplier to do the inspection, right? Because if they
Hmm.
have produced, obviously the inspection would be something. The report what they will submit to you, it will be good. It will not never be bad. Why do you want to involve supplier? You will not. I mean, you will not involve supplier to do that. You will obviously have to involve a third party company,
Hmm.
and mostly the trustworthy company who can check the or do the inspection for your product, right?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So that's all. Let me just stop this.